Before we start, tell me where you're listening from in the comments. Maybe you're someone who has also experienced failed relationships. Maybe you're lost in the search for the right person. Maybe your romantic ideals about marriage are clashing with reality. Or maybe you think successful people are perfect in their personal lives too. This conversation is for you. Today I'm going to tell you about something I never want to discuss. 3 failed marriages. Each one taught me different things. Each one made me a better person, but each one was also painful. I'm 54 years old, and I'm no longer searching for the perfect spouse. Because I've learned that the problem isn't finding the right person. The problem is being the right person. And sometimes the greatest act of love is setting each other free. This story isn't romantic. It's real, and maybe that's why it's valuable. First marriage, Justine. The lesson that intellectual connection isn't enough. I married Justine in 2000, my college love. We were together for 8 years. We have 5 children. But our marriage ended in 2008. Justine and I read the same books. We talked for hours about literature, philosophy, science. This is it, I thought, the partner of my intellectual soul. I thought having common interests was enough. I was wrong. Intellectual connection isn't enough to share daily life. Because marriage isn't just about ideas. Emotional needs, lifestyle preferences, ways of dealing with stress. All of these need to be compatible. The first major crisis happened in 2002. Our first son Nevada died when he was 10 weeks old. SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. This pain should have brought us closer together instead of separating us. But the opposite happened. In the grieving process, Justine needed to talk, share memories, express her emotions. I, on the other hand, tried to cope with the pain by turning to work through productivity. She wanted emotional closeness. I exhibited a solution-focused approach. We were both right. Both of our needs were valid. But the incompatibility was so great that instead of supporting each other, we started blaming each other. You don't care at all, Justine would say. I'm honoring our son by working, I would say. We were both wrong. What I learned from my first marriage, love isn't enough. Without compatibility, even love causes pain. 2 people can speak the same language but communicate in different dialects. Second marriage, Talulah. The cost of a rebound relationship. In 2010, I married Talulah Riley. British actress, beautiful, intelligent, artistic. The complete opposite of Justine. This was a mistake. Choosing someone for the qualities they have that your ex doesn't have isn't choosing that person for themselves. This is a classic example of rebound psychology. My relationship with Talulah was intense and passionate, but it wasn't sustainable. She wanted a creative, spontaneous life. I lived a systematic, goal-oriented life. We divorced in 2012, then we remarried in 2013, because we both hoped maybe it will be different this time. This was a big mistake. Remarrying means marrying the same problems expecting different results. As long as fundamental incompatibilities don't change, the outcome doesn't change either. We divorced for the second time in 2016. This time, it was final. I suffered a lot during that period. Am I a failure at relationships? I questioned. What does it mean to marry and divorce the same person twice? Then I realized this didn't show that I was incapable in relationships. It showed that I was trying to do the right things with the wrong people. What I learned from my second marriage, don't choose someone for what that person isn't. Choose someone for who they are. And no, love doesn't solve everything. Twice. Third relationship, Grimes, Claire. The difficulty of partnership in success. My relationship with Claire Boucher, Grimes, was different. We didn't marry, but we lived together. We have a son, XAA. We were both creative. We were both successful. We were both visionary. Perfect match on paper. But real life isn't lived on paper. Claire is an independent artist. She wants to preserve her own career, her own creative vision, her own identity. I want the same thing. The problem is, When two independent, ambitious people live together, who makes the compromises? When two strong personalities live in the same house, power dynamics become complicated. Who will sacrifice for career? Who will be more active in childcare? Who will have the final say in decisions? There's also media attention. Claire doesn't want to be known only as Elon Musk's girlfriend. She's right. But that's how the media works. When this affects her career, it also affects our relationship. We separated in 2021, with mutual respect, quietly, because we both understood that we love each other but can't walk the same life path. What I learned from my third relationship: success doesn't eliminate challenges between two people, it transforms them. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is set each other free. What I've learned about love at 54. I'm 54 now. 3 major relationships, 11 children, countless dating experiences, and I've realized my understanding of love in my youth was completely wrong. 1. The one myth. There's no such thing as the one. There's the right one for this phase of your life. People change, grow, evolve. Someone who's compatible at 25 might be incompatible at 45. This isn't a sad truth, it's a liberating truth, because it removes the perfect person pressure. 2. Love versus compatibility. Love. Chemical reaction, emotional connection, passionate attachment. Compatibility, shared values, similar life goals, complementary personalities. They're not the same thing. Love without compatibility is boring. Compatibility without love is destructive. The best relationships contain both. But if you have to choose one of the two, choose compatibility. Because love evolves, but compatibility is the foundation. 3. Timing is everything. Right person, wrong time equals wrong person. This is harsh, but true. When I met Justine, we were both in our 20s, in different growth phases, with different priorities. If we met again now, maybe it would be different, but probably not, because 4. Core values don't change. Surface level interests can change. Music taste, hobbies, career focus. But core values, family, success, spirituality, lifestyle, usually stay constant. If you disagree with your partner on fundamental values, this is a big red flag. Time will not fix this. 5. Communication style is critical. How you fight is more important than what you fight about, because couples will fight. The question is, do you resolve it respectfully or destructively? Some people fight to win. Some people fight to understand. The second group is more successful in relationships. What modern dating gets wrong. When I returned to the dating scene in my 50s, I was shocked. Everything has changed, but in the wrong direction. 1. Checklist mentality. People use checklists when choosing partners. Tall, successful, funny, athletic. Humans aren't shopping lists. The best relationships come from unexpected connections. Someone who looks perfect on paper might not have chemistry in real life. 2. Instant gratification. Dating apps encourage 3-second decisions, but real compatibility takes weeks, months to develop. You can't swipe your way to love. 3. Perfect social media image. Everyone is presenting a curated version of themselves. This prevents authentic connection. Real relationships are messy, vulnerable, imperfect, not social media versions. What I'm doing differently now. My dating approach at 54 is completely different. 1. Seeking partnership, not ownership. I used to think my wife. Now I think my partner. Subtle difference, but important. Partnership means equality. Ownership means control. 2. Entering as a complete person. I don't enter relationships with fix me or complete me energy. I enter as a complete person, partnering with another complete person. Codependency is unhealthy. Interdependency is healthy. Third, slow building. I don't rush. I don't pressure marriage. I allow it to develop naturally. The best relationships grow organically. They're not forced. 4. Authenticity over impression. I don't try to impress. I try to be authentic. Because eventually, the real you will emerge. Better to start with that. 5. Shared mission. Just I love you isn't enough. The question, what are we creating together, is also important. In good relationships, couples are individuals while also having a shared mission. Ideal partner or ideal me? This is the biggest paradigm shift. I used to focus on finding the perfect partner. Now I focus on becoming a person worth partnering with. Wrong question. What will they bring to me? Right question. What can I bring to them? Wrong question. Will they make me happy? Right question. Can I make them happy? This isn't selfish, it's strategic. Because high-quality people attract other high-quality people. The children factor. As a father of 11 children, the children factor is huge in partner selection. Because they won't just be my partner, they'll potentially be my children's stepmother. This adds extra complexity, but also extra clarity. Because my children's well-being is priority. Someone who loves me but dislikes my children equals automatic no. Someone who is neutral about my children equals not enough. Someone who genuinely enjoys my children equals green flag. Breaking the divorce stigma. Society sees 3 divorces as failure. I no longer see it that way. Divorce isn't failure. Learning experience, growth opportunity, demonstration of courage. Sometimes the most loving act. Staying in the wrong relationship doesn't benefit anyone, neither you, nor your partner, nor your children. Divorce becomes failure if the same mistakes are repeated, lessons aren't learned, bitterness is carried, children are made to suffer. I'm proud of my 3 divorces, because each one taught me something valuable about myself, about relationships, about life. 50+ dating reality. Dating in your 50s is different because everyone has history. Saying no baggage is impossible. The question is, healthy baggage or unhealthy baggage? Time awareness. We're not going to be together for 50 years, maybe 20 to 25 years. This doesn't create urgency, it creates clarity. Established identities. At 25, you're malleable, shapeable. At 50, you're established. You have to accept, not try to change. Different priorities. In youth, passion is priority. In maturity, compatibility is priority. My approach for the future. Am I open to marriage? Yes, but I'm not desperate. Am I open to children? Probably not. 11 is enough. Am I open to love? Absolutely, but with realistic expectations. What I'm looking for: emotional maturity, financial independence, own life mission, compatible values, sense of humor, kindness to children, intellectual curiosity, physical attraction. Yes, this matters. What I'm not looking for: someone to complete me, someone to fix, someone who needs me to save them, someone threatened by my success, someone who wants to fundamentally change me. Final message: love is a skill. The biggest realization: love is a skill, not just a feeling. Love skills: active listening, empathy, conflict resolution, emotional regulation, compromise ability, trust building, intimacy maintenance. These skills can be learned, developed, but most people don't make the effort to learn them. The reason for my 3 failed marriages: not having sufficiently developed these skills. Now I'm actively working on these skills. Things I'll do differently in my next relationship. Regular relationship check-ins. Professional couples therapy, preventive, not reactive. Clear communication of needs and boundaries. Continuation of individual therapy. Setting shared goals. Practicing conflict resolution skills. Conclusion. Wisdom versus cynicism. 3 divorces didn't make me cynical, they made me wise. The difference, cynical. Love doesn't work, relationships are impossible. Wise. Love is possible but requires work, compatibility, and skill. I still believe in love, but now I understand what real love requires. Real love isn't gentle, it's powerful, kind, but not weak, sustainable, but not boring. Real love is two complete people choosing to build something together while maintaining their individual identities. Share this story with single people who are struggling. Subscribe because conversations about life wisdom will continue. And remember, failed relationships aren't failure if you learn from them. Love is possible. But first, become someone worth loving. And finally, if you're listening to these words right now, especially if you're experiencing relationship struggles, I have a personal message for you. Maybe you're currently in a toxic relationship and thinking about leaving. Maybe you're lost in the search for the right person. Or maybe, like me, you've experienced multiple relationship failures and feel hopeless about relationships. I want to tell you this. You are not broken. Every failed relationship gives you valuable data. Every heartbreak gives you emotional resilience. Every wrong person gives you clarity about what the right person should be like. I went through 3 divorces, and there were times I felt like a failure. Especially when I divorced Talulah twice, I thought, am I hopeless at relationships? But now I understand that those relationships weren't failures. They were stepping stones, necessary experiences that led me to today's wisdom. If you're currently single, don't panic. Desperation energy isn't attractive. Use this time to develop yourself. Become the person you want to attract. If you're currently in the wrong relationship, leaving requires courage, but sometimes this is the most compassionate act, both for you and for your partner. If you're currently in the right relationship, don't become complacent. Good relationships require constant work. Invest in it. And if you've experienced multiple failures, this means you've gained wisdom. Most people settle because they're afraid of learning. Because you're open to learning, you'll ultimately be happier. Remember, the best relationships often come in the most unexpected ways. I'm not actively searching for my next relationship right now, but I'm open because I've learned this. Real love can't be forced, but it can be invited. The right person for you is also probably in a growth process right now. Probably learning their own lessons. Probably trying to get ready, just like you. Trust this process. You may not have a timeline, but the universe has a timeline. And sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is the end of wrong relationships. Final thought. Love is real. Real, deep, sustainable love. I know this because I experience it with my children every day. And romantic love is also possible. But it requires patience, wisdom, and self-love. Don't give up on love. Give up on settling for less than you deserve. You deserve real love. But first, become real yourself.